Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back welcoming you to Fury versus Wilder 3. It's fight week. Let's talk about it. For this Thursday night, October 7th, 2021, we're going to talk about the big fight this weekend. I'm expecting to have a small panel of guests on here with me. I'll put a few invites out there. Some people will entertain, and some people may just choose to listen in, and some people may choose to catch things on a replay. But this is a heavy fight week, and it is always exciting to come together and talk about the sport of boxing when we get down to business like this. I just look forward to some great things, man. It's like you can't wait to get started on it and everything. And welcoming everybody that's out there, man. It's like just come on in, everybody, and smash that like button as you come in and show a little support for the stream. I've been working hard this week trying to present the most quality of content as I can. And it's been very exciting, to say the least, to put together things for you guys. I had a video I dropped a little bit earlier today, and to say the least, it was very popular. You guys have really sent that video to the stratosphere as far as views and whatnot. I think it's already trekking over like 400 views from when I released it this morning, and that's a lot for Stormy B Man's channel. So I appreciate the love and the support, and I won't let you down when it comes down to putting out quality content like that. So it encourages me to just keep it up. You know what I'm saying? Keep up the good work. So, with that said, I know we got people filing into the building. Just come on in, and we're going to talk about boxing this evening. And allow me to introduce one of our guests that have fallen into the building thus far. It's my man from the other side of the pond. We got Watcher in here with us this evening. What's going on with you, Watcher? And welcome to the panel. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to be able to do our first collaboration together.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. I've definitely fallen in from across the pond. I feel like this is some, big occasion, a big event, It's just between the panel and everything. It's really good. Salute to the chat as well. Thanks for being here, guys, supporting Stormy. And yeah, man, it's good. Good to chop it up.
Yes, sir. And it is a big event. I mean, we're talking about the World Heavyweight Championship here, and the two men that people always felt from, start to finish, that these two were the best that the division had to offer, even though one of the other guys had more of the belts. But it still turned out that when it came down to wanting to see the cream of the division, these two men who are facing each other Saturday night had always been, whether it was overtly or openly spoken, they were considered the best, the cream above the rest. So, yeah, that's what it is. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to, usually Thursday nights for my channel is the night that we do the Three Wise Men. But we've given the two brothers, Curtis Anderson and Scrapbook Boxing, the evening off. Scrapbook is in Vegas. He's checking out, the fight this weekend with his family, and he says that this is his last fight that he's attending. So it's a big deal for Scrap, who's been to, I think he said, over 500 fights. So I told Scrap, just enjoy yourself, man. And today, for everyone listening out there and that'll catch this on the replay, today is Scrapbook Boxing's birthday as well. So we had birthday for Kurt Sugar on Tuesday, and then today is Scrapbook Boxing's birthday. So everybody wish our brother, Scrapbook Boxing, the boxing historian, a happy birthday, and let him come home with a victory. You know what I'm saying? So he's out there this weekend checking out the big fight, man. And we hope that he enjoys it. We hope that his family is well and enjoying it with him, because he did tell me it's a family outing out there. So that's a great thing. So looking forward to hearing what he's got to say when he makes it back. You know what I mean? So that's exciting, man. That's really exciting. I want to take a quick moment and go through our chat out there. We got Jahav out there. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't want to wreck it. He says, salute Stormy. Loco Sports is out there, who just finished up with the show with L Dub. He's out there. He says, salute. Opulent LD is out there as well. Says, salute OG Stormy B Man. Michael Johnson, Boxing Talking More, is out there saying, what it do? I wonder what he doing on that cooking tip out there. Michael always cooking up something. And we got Welcome Down Ram. Big Steppin' is out there, says, peace to the chat. Salute to the trill. Hashtag LDBC. Hashtag Bomb Squad. Hashtag to this day. Local Sports is saying he's going to be on with us in a moment. And Anthony Bolton says, salute to you, Stormy B Man. This fight has me feeling like Ric Flair. Woo! Okay. All right. Underground Asylum channel member is out there saying, salute, Sensei. Jade Nelson is out there saying, salute, Stormy. Salute to you. Antonio Hambrick is out there saying, good evening, Stormy. Channel member Bruce Goals is out there with a milestone. He's been a member for 6 months. He's saying, salute Stormy B Man and the family. Welcome, Bruce Goals. Bruce Goals is a solid, staunch supporter of boxing content out here, and a good brother and veteran historian in his own right. Salute to Bruce Goals. Curtis Price is out there saying, right on. Gregory X calling from the deep lands of the motherland, Africa. What's good with you, Gregory? Watchers in the chat as well. OG Eric in St. Louis saying, salute Stormy. Opulent LD is saying, wow. I guess that's about Scrapbook. Yeah. And Black Visionville is out there saying, salute to you, King. I came in to get some schooling, OG. Salute to you. Dirty Shivo is out there saying, respect Stormy. And Curtis is saying, happy birthday, Scrapbook Boxing, in Jesus Christ's name. On the mic with Terrence Bailey is out there, senior. He says, salute family, salute to you. And just a moment while I get this link to Loco, and we have another brother joining us here. We got the healer, Focus Ball. What's good with you, Focus Ball? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Doing
Salute
pretty good, man. Welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
Let me get our brother Loco in here in just a second. You guys can start up a conversation about this, man. It's an exciting fight weekend, man. Exciting fight weekend.
Oh man, as always, when I'm on Stormy B Man's channel, I gotta bring out my eloquence, up my vocabulary a bit. I don't want to sound ignorant. Plus, I don't want to swear too much, but it's the bodying of a F-boy this weekend. Put him in a coffin. That sounds about appropriate.
Yeah, it's time to get rid of that guy, man. Time to get rid of him.
Amazingly, I'm more curious about the day after. Does that make sense to you? I'm
Yes.
curious the day after boxing, after this fight.
Well, this is the thing. And watch it. First of all, do you have something to say to that? What Healer just offered? Watcher, you there? You're on mute if you're talking, bro.
Yeah, sorry, I just stepped away for a sec. Did you ask something?
Yeah, Healer just made a comment. Healer, would you like to repeat your comment so Watcher can hear what you said and he'll get a chance to respond to it?
Yes, sir. So the day after the destruction of Tyson 6ix9ine will be a very interesting day indeed, because silence has been golden thus far, but a songbird gonna wake a bunch of motherfuckers up and he gonna be singing an ugly tune. What I mean is, what do you think? What do you anticipate the day after the fight the way that I do?
Oh yeah, Yeah, you know what? For months on end, I've been thinking like about that aspect as well. I think it's going to be really intriguing to see how it plays out after the night of the fight as well. You know, and I'm even talking about like the AMs, like the next morning. You know, like what's going to be happening then, what people are going to be saying, and everything. But man, I can't freaking wait, man. This is by far the biggest fight of the year. Nothing else is topping this, despite any other events that have occurred around the world in boxing. This is by far the most anticipated one, the one that's going to get everyone with their eyes freaking glued to the screen from freaking start to finish with this event, man.
Well, the way I see it, this is between the two top heavyweights of the division. It's exciting on that merit alone. But I'm going to say this. Anytime there's a quality heavyweight match, you can pretty much expect everything to be heightened. The fanfare, the fact that they are coming in as two sides of a coin. It's like you got people either for one guy or against the other and vice versa. That's what makes it compelling. And regardless of who win, lose, draw, whatever, this is what the sport needs. It needs this type of competitiveness to stir the masses' interest in the sport. And if the heavyweights can start to get their act together in this regard, the rest of boxing will follow suit. It really will. And allow me to introduce our brother, Kano Loco Sports, who's coming to the building as well. What's good, Kano? Glad to see you, bro.
Man, what's good, everybody, man? Everybody in the chat, up in LD, big homie Cool. You know what I'm saying? When I touch down in Boston, I'm gonna hit you up, man. I used to be on Euclid in Washington, Blue Hill Ave, over there, Mademan Square, all that, man. Great conversation so far, man. I like what Healer of the Mind said, man. Because I'm more interested in the day after as well, because there's a lot of naysayers and a lot of people who blindly are looking at the facts of what's in front of them. I did mention this earlier tonight, man, that they're blinded by hatred. They're so blinded by hatred, they don't see what's right in front of them. They know, but they don't want to know. And that's the problem with the a lot of these social media people out here, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, for Healer and Loco, man, I'm excited to have my man Watcher on here on the panel with us this evening, because he and I have been talking about collaborating for a while. So I would like to let him voice some perspective, because he's one of the people that also keeps us so informed about news that may be coming in from the other side that we don't get right away. So I really would like to hear what he has to say as far as opening remarks on the anticipation of this fight this evening. And just a mindful note to all of you brothers on the panel here, I did write down some bullet points for us to talk about. So don't feel like we might run out of something, because I am prepared for that. But go ahead, Watcher. I'm going to give you the floor. Let me know what your thoughts are as we have wound down this week. We had that presser yesterday. What are your thoughts as we head in and get ready for Saturday night? And the weigh-in tomorrow, and then Saturday night's fight.
Yeah, man. In the lead up to this week, I was looking at the schedule and everything, and there's been so much gone into this. The grand rivals, the press conference. We're in Vegas. This is, the heart of boxing, just about, when it comes to the biggest events occurring. And, Wilder is surging at the moment. He is surging, and he's in a good place. I can't really speak for Fury because we never know with a guy like that. I think the press conference yesterday was very revealing. And obviously, everyone saw or most people, if not, saw, towards the end, there wouldn't be a face-off. We had a good old Satan screaming out, no press conference, which people were mad about, but it's just funny, everyone is like on edge on one side, actually on both sides, but it appears that on one side everyone's a bit more on edge. Like we had Kate Abdo up there yesterday, and she spoke after the comments Bob Arum made, and she was going on about how the broadcasters had agreed to do a face-off, and then all of a sudden Mr. Arum comes in and closes it down for some reason, which is okay because you never know with Fury. He's unpredictable. He's wild. 1 minute he's at 1, next minute he's at 100. So anything could have happened. A water bottle could have been thrown, something like that. I just saw Wilder after. He looks massive. He was with Blue Blood Sports TV. Shout out to him. And he's in a good place, from what I see. I'm sure Fury is amped up. His emotions are pretty heightened as well. And we had the undercard press conference today. That was good. There was some words back and forth between some of the fighters, even with Ajagba and Sanchez. Ajagba, he tried to make Sanchez flinch, like he tried to, go forward on him, and Sanchez just like put his hands up, like, really, is that all you got? Everything is starting to really, culminate here. Everything is starting to heat up, and I'm looking forward to the weigh-in. I really did want the weigh-in to be open to the public because it would have been good to see where the support was. Because last time, I thought we were in the O2 Arena in London when the weigh-in happened last year. I thought there were like so many UK fans in there, but the weigh-in should be interesting. That can reveal a lot as well. So, yeah, man, those are my opening remarks for that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, Watcher, that you mentioned about the face-off and Bob Arum saying, "Oh, no, and if you ask me, Fury was prepared to do something to possibly get things kicked off in a negative manner, but Wilder didn't cooperate. And it's one of the things that was a direct lead into what I'm saying, and more to the point of what you revealed in your observation is this: he wouldn't sit down. There's a thing that men have within themselves about another man standing over him, right? I know of someone in my family that got into an altercation with another family member when I was a small kid. Two grown men, one happened to stand up over the other one and ended up getting his jaw broken because, men don't play with violating their space. And these are two men here, but I'm not saying it in the sense of like Fury being a tough guy. But remember, he has pulled out all the tricks he can to get out of this situation. He did not want this third fight, people. He did not want this third fight. I will say it one more time. He did not want this third fight. He resorted to name calling and everything at that presser yesterday. The only thing he didn't call Wilder was the N-word. And that may have been in his mind. But I'll tell you this, he wasn't expecting the demeanor and the calm that Wilder displayed. Possibly a lot of people in the arena didn't expect that as well. But it was great because you see he was trying to do something. Now, tomorrow's the weigh-in. Do not be surprised if more is done and he tries. But my advisement to the Wilder camp is to keep the champ away from the guy. Don't let him get within 10 feet of him. Just 10 feet or more. Not even the 6 foot social distancing that they're suggesting that we practice in these times. I think that he should stay at least 10 feet away from the guy. And if Fury tries to violate that space, I think that someone should intercede and be like, you know, be a buffer, because he could still try to do something to get this thing thrown off. You understand? And then he could hide behind the fact of like, oh, the tempers ran hot and this and that. No, dude, you don't want this fight. You really don't. So what do you guys think that I said about that? I'll come to you, Healer, first. Healer, what do you think about that?
I can
Healer,
go.
you're on mute if you're talking. Brother Healer.
If not, I'll start it off.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Kano.
Yeah, no, man, I'm a complete agreement with you, man. I was actually okay with there not being a face-off, man, for the simple fact that you pointed out the obvious. Well, it's obvious to us. It's not obvious to everybody else that Fury don't want this fight. If they would have allowed that face-off, Fury could have did anything to jeopardize the trilogy, because he really don't want the trilogy. I hope after the weigh-in tomorrow that they keep them apart like you say. I don't want there to be no excuses or no way out of this fight. And if they're not within arm's reach of each other, nothing like that can happen, where they can say, well, the tempers flared and this happened and such got a cut now, so we got to postpone this fight again and this and that, and delaying yet again a trilogy fight. Because I agree with you. I don't think Fury wants this fight. No, I know he don't want this fight. I wanted to add a little something to it though before you pass it around, that this fight right here, a lot of people were saying they didn't want it. A lot of people were saying, nah, this ain't gonna be good. It ain't gonna sell nothing. Now the only thing everybody's talking about is this trilogy. And not only are they talking about the trilogy, but look at the loaded undercard that they put together with it. That's all everybody could talk about. So for them to say that this fight wasn't any good and that it wasn't going to sell, the joke's on you, because this is going to do big numbers and it's got everybody's attention and it's got everybody on edge.
Yeah, I agree. Are you back now, Healer?
Yes, sir. So sorry about that.
Yeah, we wanted to get your take on, what we were just talking about.
Oh man, these dudes look like clowns every day. I not to get religious or biblical or whatnot, but since the champ does, why not? It's like God just wants to show you what a hypocrite looks like. Like, hypocrite. Let me show you what a hypocrite is. Look at these fools clamoring for AJ versus Fury. Undisputed. So we don't clamor for undisputed after the fight, right? Nobody wants to see this fight. So why is everybody talking about it? You know what everybody's not talking about? Exactly. I don't even know. This is the only fight that matters right now. UFC, I watched that. I don't give a fuck who's fighting. Francis won. I don't care. It's the only fight that matters right now.
He wanted to know also, Focus Ball. He wanted to know about the not having a face-off. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Oh yeah, that was a good move, because Tyson Fury's trying to start something. He's definitely trying to get out, and I mean that was just postponed it again. And then he'd be like, "Oh, it's not my fault. So the big dog's got my face." He'd definitely try to find a way out, or injure Wilder or some shit. So I think it was a good move. Or he would have shat his pants and just decided to pull out with COVID again
for a third time.
Yeah, and what do you guys feel about what I said regarding a man standing over another man? Remember, because Fury didn't want to sit down. Wilder had taken a seat and got himself in a relaxed position, and Fury was pacing back and forth, and he was trying to invite and incite, but Wilder was definitely quite reserved in that manner, and it was something to pay attention to. You know, I'm telling you, and it's not over yet. We have to consider tomorrow too. Tomorrow is a key day. A key
Yes.
day. I would like to see the brother get on the scale, step off the scale, and put his if he's gonna put his shirt back on or whatever, and just move over to the side. And when they call him forward to face off or whatever, he could walk to the front of the stage and hold his fists up or do his muscle pose or whatever, but just walk away after that. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. You know.
Storm, if you don't mind, I want to interject because I did address what you was talking about, but anytime in my experience in life in general, anytime that there's a person sitting down and the one making all the noise is standing up and hollering and huffing and puffing, usually they're the ones who's nervous, got the nervous energy. And every time I've seen a situation like that, the man sitting down usually ends up knocking the hell out of the guy that's standing up out. In my life experience, that's the way I've seen it. I've never seen it happen any other way. So
Yep.
Fury is nervous.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
what pacing is about.
Yeah. How about you, Watcher?
I agree, man. You know, it was I noticed it straight away. Like he kept pacing back and forth. He was getting a drink from his brother Shane Fury. The thing that stuck out for me was you know, Wilder obviously he was sitting back, he was just relaxed and everything. And man, I've never seen Fury that angry ever in my whole time following him. Never. Like when he was rematching Derek Chisora, he was pissed in that press conference, but not like to the level of this. I think it was a smart idea, obviously not having the face-off, because he almost had a fight with Derek Chisora when they did their second weigh-in. You know, like freaking like fists were coming up almost. But for Wilder, I like when Wilder said during the press conference, like he said, "Thank you." Like he said thank you to Fury. Like Fury's like, "I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna, you know, you're a dosser, this and that." And Wilder's like, thank you. Like, you know, just keep talking. Yeah, it's gonna bite you back real soon. You know, just the poise of Wilder was good. You know, he was calm. That's why I keep saying, you know, he's in a good place like that. Fury was freaking at one point screaming. And as for the weigh-in,
Yeah.
I mean, I thought David, hey, Chisora style, where you put the metal fence up, but they're gonna do it like last time, I think, where they've got them like freaking 8 meters apart, and you know they got the rails in front, so no one can try and do any foolishness. And as well as that, when they're doing the rules meeting, everyone in the team is there, so they got to make sure nothing kicks off there as well, because you know that when the referee has the fighter meeting and the rules meeting, certain things get to be brought up, like, you know, headlocking and this and that. Someone's got to be saying something. I'm sure they'll video all of this. I'm sure they're going to like record all this before the fight.
One of the things that I'm concerned about too, and I know that they're going to talk about this in the dressing rooms, they got to get this guy to pull those trunks down. Fury wears his trunks all the way up, halfway over in his abdomen. No, we need those trunks down to the waist, brother. You walk around every other time with your shirt off, showing your love handles flopping over your belt line. Well, we want to see that in the fight. We don't want you walking around with your pants pulled up over your belly like, you know, what's his name, Foghorn Leghorn or something. No, we need those, you know, trunks down around the waist. I want to see the love handles flopping over there so you can show that you really didn't train and everything, and so that it will expose the larger target. That's what we need. We need that. And we need Wilder's camp to stress that, because that's very important. Get those trunks down. Huh?
Yep.
I wanted to ask you guys, did you guys get a chance to see any of the pre-presser stuff when they arrived at the scene? Like, you know, when they came through, I don't know if that was the outside the stadium or whatever, and they had the women asking them questions and stuff. Did you guys get a chance to see that part?
Briefly, but
yes, no, anybody?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, because what I'm getting at is this. You know, they were being interviewed, and then they let people ask questions. And for Wilder, one person in the crowd asked him a question about his trainer and his choice of trainer, and that was former heavyweight champion Tim Witherspoon. We just had an interview with Tim Witherspoon a week ago on Drew Titan's channel, Sunday night show, Drew's channel, and I really didn't like the way Witherspoon came at him with that question, man, because he was basically asking Wilder if he knew, was he certain that he made a good choice in a trainer and things of that nature. And Witherspoon was also almost like he was questioning Wilder's, not only his intellect, but his wherewithal when it comes down to boxing. And I don't know, I know Tim Witherspoon, when he spoke to us on Drew Titan's show last week, he talked about he's interested in training people now and everything. I don't know if he was trying to drum up something for himself or if he was being insulting or whatever. But what I didn't like about that was he came across as ignorant of Wilder. And when I say that, because people, when you use the word ignorant, you have to understand what it really means. Ignorant is having no knowledge of something. Okay. So I don't believe he really has any knowledge of Wilder. If he really knows that this man started boxing late in the amateurs and didn't have very many amateur fights and went to the Olympics, and he medaled in the Olympics as a bronze. And he was the only one to bring back a medal in boxing. So it's like that alone, okay? Then as a professional, he took off a series of knockouts, right? One of the longest knockout streaks in history, right up there with Wilfredo Gomez, okay? Then he won the heavyweight title, the WBC heavyweight title, and with the winning of the WBC heavyweight title, he defended it 10 times. You know, only 6 other people did that, okay? And over a 5-year span, he was heavyweight champion. How long was Tim Witherspoon champion? Huh? And he openly admitted on last week's show that he threw a fight. I'm sorry, but Tim, I've got to say this. F+, get to the back of the class. What the hell was that? It was disrespectful. It was disrespectful. And I just wanted to ask you guys if any of you heard that.
No, I honestly didn't.
I heard it. I was watching it live and I was like, damn, like wasn't Drew talking to that guy? Like,
talk about it, watch it. If you've seen it, because Steve Watcher and I, we really connect when we talk boxing. So come on, Watcher. Let us know what your thoughts.
When I heard that, I was like, because he wasn't even like freaking asking it properly. Like I was like, what are you asking? Like, what is the question here? Like, are you trying to question someone's, intellect here? Like, what is this really about? I just feel like a lot of these guys from the past, I don't know, man, they got some sort of mindset in which, I'm not saying all of them, I'm just saying a couple of these fighters who like to throw fights, are just freaking like envious almost, like there's a new person on the block with 10 title defenses, a long knockout streak, over 5 years as champion. that means something. I feel like, that question should have been directed to Fury. He's the one that's gone through all the trainers. I mean, shit. He's been with freaking everyone. Peter Fury, John Fury, Ben Davidson, the Kronk Gym, Jorge Capetillo, all these guys. Maybe that's a question for him why he's training. I feel that people are reaching for something, really trying to grasp at straws here. I don't get it, man. This is just it's just weird. Could have asked anything else, but once the question is intellect on choosing a trainer, making necessary changes is apparently a bad thing these days.
Well, see, this is the thing, and I see some people in the chat are, taking the frame of mind that maybe he might be jealous or something like that. I don't know that that's jealousy. I kind of liken it to the same ineptitude that we're seeing from some of the boxing scribes and folk that are over there in the UK when they come down to talking about Wilder. They speak of Wilder as if he's some sort of brute or something, and he has no IQ. And when I say that, I'm not talking about ring IQ. They're talking about smarts, period. They talk about him as if he's nothing more than just some kind of physical entity that is not to be respected. And I've listened to pre-fight picks and pans from these guys, and none of them want to give Wilder any credit for any of his accomplishments. And I find that to be truly biased and prejudiced. Okay? And more than a jealousy, that may be the very root of it all. And a person can be of the same ethnicity and be prejudiced and have bias against you. You have to understand. That's a person who has a problem with themselves, okay? And they project it on someone else. Remember, Tim went through things and didn't handle it well and was on a terrible end of a deal in his dealings with Don King. That's nobody's fault but Tim, okay? But you do not ingratiate yourself people of present time when you can't show respect to them. And it was disrespect. But Witherspoon was a POS for that in that moment. And if you guys, for those who didn't see that,
You froze.
that's why I said, even when these guys, there's one UK guy over there who has spoken well about Wilder, and that's David Haye. David Haye has had direct relations with Wilder, and he has been in the gym with him. He sparred with him. He had a close personal working relationship with Wilder. And that was before Wilder became the heavyweight champion. He knows what Wilder's talent level is. And he's always speaking.
Oh, okay. Stormy's gone, so let me go ahead and take the reins until he gets back in here, man. I was at work during the press conference, so I basically had an opportunity to watch just the Wilder and Fury back and forth and stuff like that, which is why I didn't catch everything, but that's why I don't have an opinion on what I didn't hear it. So in order to form an opinion on that, man, Watcher did, Stormy B-Man did. I don't know, hit Focus Ball, did you watch the entire thing? Because I didn't. I just would like to ask you that, if you're there. All right. I think Stormy's coming back. All right, I'll pass the ring.
I get kicked out of my own.
Yeah.
I get kicked out of my own show. What is that?
Bro?
Man, they must heard me talking like this, man, and they said, "Oh, get him out of there."
How you get kicked out of your own stream, bro?
Man, listen, Loco, you know how they do it, man. You know how they do it, man.
Yes, indeed, man. I was telling them, Stormy, man, that I was at work during the press conference, so I was having a peek here and there. So what I basically was able to catch was, the Wilder and Fury going back and forth, stuff, the beginning of it until some of it towards the end. I didn't get to be able to listen to any of the trainers talk, like Malik Scott and Fury's trainer and stuff. So that's why I missed out on that, and that's why I'm a little quiet on it, because I didn't get a chance to catch it yet.
Yeah, you have to go back and watch that. Let me get this super chat real quick. Shout out to the African sci-fi scholar out there in that super chat. We appreciate you, bro. He says, salute Stormy B-Man and the panel. I respect a lot of the past fighters, a lot of the past fighters have done, but I tune out their opinions on today's fighters for the most part. I even steer away from their interviews today. Yeah, and it's okay to keep an ear to the ground of what's happening with them. But when they show that type of ignorance, you have to call them on it. You have to. That's just like when I can be critical of fighters of today, I can still salute their strong points if there are strong points to be spoken of. And I can also be a person of critique and not just criticism, because there is a difference. But understand this, there's no malice when I'm speaking of these things. But when what I saw out of Tim at that outdoor interview there, it just didn't sit well with me at all. It didn't sit well with me at all. So, and that's why I'm advising people to go and check it out for themselves, because when you see it for yourself, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to say salute to our other brother out there, William Old School Ardent out there. He says, salute Stormy B-Man and the panel. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you in your super chat, you and African Sci-Fi Scholar. I like the fact that people are showing that type of support, and the brothers on the panel here are contributing very well this evening as well. Before we move on to more about this discussion, do any of you guys have anything else to say about the remarks that I shared about Witherspoon, or anything else leading to that pre-press?
I obviously don't, because I didn't get the chance to watch it. But what about you, Watcher, Focus Ball? Y'all on mute? Go ahead and speak.
The press conference.
Those were my final thoughts.
The press conference.
Oops. Go ahead, Focus Ball.
What's that?
One at a time. Go ahead, Focus.
Yeah,
it's on you, Focus.
The press conference. Yeah. So it can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit,
okay?
But that sounds more like static or something than
check.
But just go ahead.
All right, cool. So the fucking press conference, the press conference pretty much just showed that they don't care. Fury admitted it. Fury is more honest than the media, because he's admitted it several times. He's quite honest if you pay attention to him. Like when he was doing the whole walk on the beach thing, Fury will tell you if you listen. Sometimes he just he tells the truth every once in a while, but the man admitted several times, yeah, I did it, but what are you going to do to stop me from doing it again?
Yeah. He has exercised that.
Very telling. That
yeah, he has exercised that. I agree.
No investigation. Where's Suleiman's investigation?
Yeah, Healer, you might want to try.
Well, where's Mauricio Suleiman to investigate? Where's the commission to investigate? The fact that
yeah, you might want to mute him. There is Stormy. Yeah.
Yeah, Healer, try. Yeah, there you go. Pop out. I want to welcome Divine Sense Boxing, who's joined us as well, man. Salute to you, Divine. Glad to see you in here, man.
Yeah, man. I was a little bit caught up on another panel there, man. A bunch of Fury fans. It was getting heated. So, but I told you that I would come by, so I'm here. Always good to be a part of it.
Divine Sins, they
Yeah,
gonna be gone after Saturday. Them Fury fans are gonna be gone.
Man.
I'm just saying.
I don't know why you do that to yourself, bro. I'm too old for that. I can't, you know what I mean? You know, I have to have a warm bath. I can't take a scalding hot bath. You understand? You know, when I
I
was
hear you.
younger, I was dumb. I'd take a scalding hot bath. You think it was macho to get in there and scald myself. I don't do that anymore. I take a warm bath. You know what I mean?
So, you know what I told
I
him?
hear
Yes,
you.
he told me. I told him on his live. I said, "Man, you're walking into a trap." Now I know he can handle himself, but it's still a trap. You gotta
Yeah,
swim through it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
all
just
I mean,
because you hold, listen, let me share this tidbit with you. And I know locals understand exactly where I'm coming from when I say this. We know you can handle yourself. That don't mean you got to go and prove it to people.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, that's it. No more, no less. You can handle yourself. You ain't got to prove it to nobody. Because I'll tell you this: those who are wise take heed and witness. Those who be fools tread where wise men dare to go. Yeah,
Yeah, I hear
it's
you.
as
I just
simple
have
as that.
I guess I just have a knack of debating and speaking wisdom into ignorance.
You know what it is, though, Divine says. You know why I tell you that? Because and why he tells you that, you're actually helping them. I just don't entertain them at all, man. Because I'm not gonna do anything to help them. That's what they
I
want.
agree with that 100%. See, kind of Loco, in a sense, that's a parallel of what happened with this fight. In hindsight being 2020, Deontay just should have left this guy where he was. He should have left him where he was. Not because he would have trouble with him in a boxing match or anything, but because of the type of person he was or is. And Fury took this opportunity, as a leech would do, to find a host to replenish itself. Everything where he is right now is off of Deontay Wilder's blood, literally and figuratively. And he doesn't even have the decency to say, thank you for giving me a shot.
Never
He turned
said it.
around, and I did that video earlier today, and I talked about this. He betrayed Wilder. He betrayed him. He bit the hand
Stormy.
that fed him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you off, but since I'm on here, I just want to ask you a real quick question because I haven't heard your thoughts yet about it. What did you think about Fury trying to go after JD's?
It was more the mind games employees that were a part of what he's been trying to do. Because remember, he's saying things that trying to get a rise. You know what I mean? Trying to get a rise. But what he doesn't realize is that there's no more time for talk. It's time for action. And the Wilder camp has dedicated its entire process of training for this third fight for action. Fury is the one that likes to run around and be loud and everything. But remember what the old saying is about empty cans. They rattle the loudest. Mm-hmm. So Jay Diaz is just another person to point fingers at or something like that when he has absolutely nothing, meaning Fury has nothing to do with Wilder's camp anymore. And when I say anymore, because Mark Breland is no longer there. Mm. And there we do know for a fact that there was a direct connection to Kronk with Mark Breland. But we also know that cultivation is not Mark Breland's strong point. Because here you have a man who in months of camp have brought more to the site out of Wilder than this other man who's been hanging around for almost a decade. Breland has really sold himself out, and it's a shame because he could have gone a different way. It's all about choices. When Wilder speaks, and understand this, and I talked about it in my video earlier today. When Wilder speaks, he speaks from a position of like truth and sincerity. When he talked about, man, you know, what kind of person are you if you can't even break bread with the family? You can't, come and visit and be nice to the kids or whatever. We're doing something where my life is on the line and you can't even be personable like that, but you'll show up for a paycheck and you'll keep a distance between us. But it's like, where is the humanity in all of this? I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, but I'm also a man and a human being. You see?
Yeah.
Now he and Malik got a brotherhood going on, and a lot of the others that are a part of his camp. And when he says, I got my brothers with me, that my family, this is what he was talking about. That's why I did that breakdown video earlier, because I'll tell you something. And I'm very happy and pleased. Let me just say this on the air. I'm very happy and pleased that the response to that video I got with his interview with Brian Custer, because we're living in times where people lack integrity and they're not showing a great deal of support and strength, but people are finding ways to be weaker and weaker and weaker. So when a man has substance, when he has faith base, when he has something to live for, spirit, it can carry you through most trials because you believe in something strong and significant. Well, he wasn't able to be fulfilled in that manner when he had other people around him that didn't care as much.
Right.
And just a little crack in the foundation like that could spell trouble for your household.
And I think that's the message that people don't understand on the other side. I was back on that panel, and my whole thing was they asked me to come debate the fight. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly why I think Wilder's going to win. And of course, the damn allegations were brought up. No different than when Wilder's up there and the media trying to ask the damn allegation questions. No damn different. Anytime they get a Wilder supporter, that's what they want to do. What do you think about the gloves? What do you think about that? Can you believe this? And I'm like, I ain't here for that shit. But when it comes to Mark Breland, I think that is the number one trigger point for that side. They can't stand that Wilder got rid of Breland. They hate the fact that the water being spiked, that whether it was true or not. They hate that it was brought up, period. They think it's inconceivable that Wilder would do this, right? And for me, on your point, Stormy, is that, and I said it on my channel many times, at the end of the day, if you walk outside your house and you see a snake slithering in the garden, you don't wait for that snake to bite you. You get rid of that snake any means necessary. Period. And like, I see a snake. Let me wait to see if it comes to the front door. You know what I mean? And that's how Wilder looked at it. He felt like he had somebody in his camp that was close to him that he could no longer trust. And when you can't trust someone, it's very easy to start putting pieces to a puzzle together. We've all been there, right? We've been in situations with homies and sometimes even family where you think you got that network of trust, and then you start hearing shady shit. And that shit builds up and more stuff comes to the surface. And you're like, well, but that's my boy. Like, my boy wouldn't do that to me. You're in denial. It takes a while to snap out of that denial. And that's what happens. And when you are in the situation of being a boxer, and here's the thing, all the things that Breland may have said or done behind the scenes that we don't even know about, but Wilder accepted it. He brushed it to the side. The one thing that he couldn't accept any longer was him throwing in the towel. That's the deal breaker right there. Yes. That's like, okay, we're not friends anymore when you do that. And not only did you do it, but how you did it. Throwing it from a fucking seated position. Didn't even come. I didn't even see you in the corner of my eye standing at the ring apron. You know, I don't, where the fuck did the towel come from? You know, and that was it. That was like, you know what? I can't have you around anymore. You were a snake slithering around. I wasn't sure, but now I know I got to get rid of you, period. And they can't accept it over there. They can't. But it is what it is, man. Now he has Malik, and you can tell he's a completely different person now. Completely different. And they said on the panel, well, Wilder, he's scared because before he was doing all this bomb squad stuff and being loud and this and that, but now he's quiet. He's scared now. I'm like, no, he's a new person. You can see the growth, the maturity. You can see it all coming in real time. And he's done with the bullshit. He's done 2 fights of that already. That shows maturity right there. And Fury's still trying to ring the same bell that he was doing from the first fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those are just my open thoughts about the press conference. I don't know if you guys had talked about it yet. Go ahead, Kano.
I was just going to add to what you were saying, man, that I don't understand why they even had a problem with Wilder firing Breland, because Breland did something that he wasn't supposed to do. Breland was told never to throw the towel in. And I try to explain this thing, and I don't understand why they don't get it. If you go to a job and they tell you no smoking allowed in or around the building, and they catch you smoking, they're going to fire you.
Justice for Mark Breland.
You know what I'm saying? So I just don't get it. The employer is Deontay Wilder. He is the employer. He's the manager. He's the boss. And if you do something that does not coincide with the rules and regulations that he has set forth, then you put yourself in a situation to get fired. You get fired from a job, you put yourself in that situation. You did something for that boss to fire you. You can't blame that on nobody but yourself. So Mark Breland has nobody to blame but himself. So I don't understand why people even get mad at that. That's all I had to say on that.
But did you know what? You know what it is, Kano? It's because the truth is this: they wanted Wilder to lose so badly, and because the fight was stopped, they wanted to see Wilder submit. They wanted him to say, "Tyson Fury beat me up. The towel saved him, but my corner saved me. If it wasn't for them, Wilder would have killed me." That's what they wanted to hear from Wilder, but that's not what they heard. They heard this bitch ass dude over here betrayed me, and that pissed them off. They're like, "Oh man, see, you were getting beat up, man. Just accept it, right?" So that's why. It's because they wanted him to lose so badly, and they wanted to see him concede and submit. That's what they wanted to see, and it didn't happen. So when the water thing came up, oh man, that's what really blew the lid off the situation. When the water came up, they're like, "Oh, you see, you know," and we all remember how they twisted it, right? Like, Wilder's out there promoting, black empowerment, and he was talking about injustices that were happening during that time, leading up to the second fight. You know, the whole thing with him and Radio Raheem, we all remember that, right? So he's advocating for black people in America, but then he throws a fellow black man under the bus. So they twist it. They flip it real quick. And so everybody started riding that train, and they're still riding on it today, 2 days away from the fight. They are still talking about it. And I told them over there on that panel, I told them, when y'all going to let it go? Wilder hasn't spoken about it in months. He's been working. He's been training. He's been preparing. So you're making me think that you're worried that all you have to talk about is stuff that was talked about 6 months ago. So what's up? They're going to fight Saturday night. So what is it? And then they're like, and they get all discombobbled. So, I mean, that's just how I see it. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in on that.
Has always been a stand-up guy from everybody that's been around him and that knows him. And my thing with it is, Do you think this is the first thing that pissed off Wilder about Breland? Because I don't. I don't. I believe I'm in the old saying that throwing into the towel was the straw that broke the camel's back. There was more going on than just throwing in the towel.
Absolutely.
They want to focus on what they see, but they don't know the behind the scenes. Something else, a bunch of other things have had to let up to that point for Wilder to just finally say, you know what, that's it. Enough is enough. I done gave this man break. Time after time after time after again. That's it. He's gone. He's out of there. And the only thing they can focus on is the water. No, it was more than that.
Yep.
Listen, salute to David Scott out there with this particular comment. He says, that's why Johnny Nelson can't understand why Wilder and Malik are so confident. Remember a few years ago that AJ was questioning Wilder's confidence? He was talking amongst his UK people, and he was like, why is he so confident? What makes him so? And then they start talking about arrogance, which has nothing to do with Wilder's confidence. But I wanted to throw the question in the lap of Watcher because he has a closer viewpoint of what happens on that side of the world and their approach to and their considerations of Wilder. Watcher, when you listen to some of the commentary that they have when they're speaking of Wilder, the first two fights, now, you know, they went from saying like, and what was obvious, the first fight was a draw. It ended in a draw that was scored a draw by the judges, but they've gone from saying that to Fury beat him twice already. It's amazing that the people have changed like this, but tell us what your perceptions are and what the reality of things are from how you experience it over there watching.
It's laughable. I mean, that's funny how they say that. The first two fights, Fury won. Not just won, Stormy. They say he dominated, even though, you know, after both fights, it looked like he'd been in a car accident or something. And I said both fights because if you look at Fury's face, his face is like a, I don't know, it's like a, it's not nice, I'll say that. But, you know, Johnny Nelson, you know, all those guys piggybacking off it, those people at Sky, the Zone. We got people on damn TalkSport in the UK saying, Wilder was embarrassed, you know, this and that. Every time he steps up, he loses and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man, listen, you guys sound like scared fans. You're worried. Your boy AJ could not get the Fury fight. Couldn't get the Wilder fight either. Couldn't do it. These two are fighting for a third time. Even good old Edward Hearn can't keep his mouth shut about this fight. He went from saying it doesn't happen to now saying, oh, Fury's not prepared. You shouldn't be worried about Fury. You should be worried about your guy getting that rematch back. So you should be worried about. You see, you're on the outside now. You don't matter. Yeah. Again, Johnny Nelson. I'm sick of, you know, I saw Drew made the video. You know, he was talking about, I'm so sick of Malik and Wilder being full of shit, this and that. You know, I mean, we're like, I just don't understand these guys. Spencer Fearon, I mean, the list goes on. Remember, you got to understand, a lot of these people in the UK, they never have spoken about Mark Breland, ever. Okay? Until last year when Wilder lost. Never. They never talked about that. They never brought his name up and held him in high praise. Never talked about his gold medal and his career and everything. Now, all of a sudden, Wilder takes the L. And now they want to prop him up. None of it makes sense at all. I mean, they're dragging fighters in the UK on these BT sports shows and everything. We've got people even like who have spoke, like Carl Frampton. Him and Wilder met in Ireland back in 2018. They were talking and, you know, Wilder was giving him the best of luck in his damn dressing room before his fight. And then he wants to sit up here on BT and say all this shit about, oh, you know, the mind games, oh, he's in his head, and oh, you know, shit. These people are really inconsistent. Yeah. The only thing that they're consistent is with bullshit. That's what they're consistent with.
But
they lie too
you
much.
know what? And I don't want to take the conversation too far left, because we are featuring the Wilder and Fury third match in this discussion. But I just wanted to say this and get you guys a quick response from each of you on the panel here. Do you notice that ridicule comes from the powers that be? Let's just put it like that. PTB, okay? The powers that be, ridicule comes from them when you're talking about a subject that they want to favor, a person that they want to favor in the sport, going up against someone who happens to be good. When I say good, mean that they're a good fighter, that they're worthy. Why do you think that is? And I'll come to Healer. Healer, are you still there, bro?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that is?
Why do they ridicule the person they don't want to win?
Yes.
So it's kind of like bullying, you know. Conor McGregor does it a lot. So when the person is good, they feel what they can do is, if we use the machine to come up against you, we can break your confidence and we can make you think that you're going to lose, you know? So that's really what it is.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you use that term about bullying, because there is a such thing as being bullied from an external manner. Kano, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I don't really have much to add on that, man. I'm just ready for the fight, man. I do got to get up early. I left you a private chat on there, man. Just wanted to say,
sorry,
man,
I didn't see it.
It's cool, man. But as always, it's always a pleasure to be on the panel with y'all, man. I do got to get up like 5 in the morning and stuff, man. But I wanted to leave out by saying, first of all, shout out to the mighty LDBC. And I got Wilder winning by 5th round knockout, man. That's what I got, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
All right, man.
All right, Kano.
All right.
Always good to-
We appreciate you, man. And thank you for, being a part of this evening.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Peace to you. So, Divine, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, what's the question exactly? Sorry, I had a phone call there for a moment.
Okay. The question was, why do you think that the powers that be, the establishment, when it's someone that they want to see win and do well, that they find a way to ridicule the other person, and almost it's like you detract from them being good, the fact that they are good and capable. What do you think about that?
Well, two things. First off, we saw it in the press conference where Bob Arum got upset at Kate for, in my opinion, I felt she was pretty neutral, and was trying to get both fighters a fair shot of going back and forth. And Bob got upset and, wow, you're being too biased towards Wilder and different stuff like that. So that just kind of shows you where people are leaning. They want Fury to win. They want him to be the undisputed champ, and they want to make the Fury-Usyk fight. And to your point, Stormy, that's because they want people to believe that Wilder doesn't have skill. He doesn't have a chance. He got destroyed in the second fight, and it's not going to be any different the third fight. That's the narrative that they push. Now, when I was on the other panel earlier tonight, I had to remind people, because they conveniently forget, that how, and you remember, Stormy, I had Brian Macy on my panel,
right?
A guy who won nationals in 1999, very good amateur career, but he failed the Olympic trials, I think maybe even twice, couldn't even make the Olympic team. And I have to give people that reminder, is how does a guy who enters boxing at 20, 21 years old make the Olympic team, go to the Olympics, and medal. You need more than just power to accomplish that. You need skill, especially at the amateur level. It's a point scoring system, and you got to do more than just try to knock a guy out. Because if a guy is able to avoid your power punches, he outpoints you, you're going to lose. Right? So you're going to have to box. And people have conveniently forgot that. They always forget that he what he did early in his career. It just so happens as he gets into the professional ranks, he's just knocking dudes out. And he became this guy who only has a right hand. And that's exactly what Malik Scott is bringing out of Wilder, reminding him of how he got here, because he's a natural-born athlete. And he was given skills in the beginning. We have to bring those back out. We don't have to change you, because that's what people are saying now. Oh, he's 36. It's too late. They're trying to change him. This isn't Rocky 3 when Apollo Creed changes Rocky to bounce on his toes and box. That's not what we're talking about here. We're simply talking about refining skills that he already had. And so I think you're right. The powers that be, the establishment, let's face it, man. Let's be real here. They want Fury to be the face of heavyweight boxing. That it's as simple as that. And we're shown that time after time after time after time. Press conferences, interviews, the way they treat Wilder, dragging his name through the mud, bringing up the allegations constantly, like a broken record, man. Constantly bringing it up, trying to set traps for him, right? And the last little point that I'll say, and I'll swing it around, is I just don't get it, man. One thing that irritates me is if you're an American and you claim to be a boxing fan, in particular a boxing fan of the heavyweight division, how could you not go for Deontay Wilder? We haven't seen an undisputed heavyweight champion, and correct me if I'm wrong, in America, an American since Mike Tyson, right? Back in, 1988, 89?
I guess Holyfield after him, but that's it.
Yeah, but it's been a long time, right? It's been a very long time. So why wouldn't you want to bring the belts back home and have an American heavyweight undisputed champion? That's sad to me. Like everything else put to the side. That's sad. Where we have people in our own country here in America that are riding with Fury and they want Wilder to lose so badly. They're okay with all the belts going back to the UK. They're okay with the belts being over there. Klitschko held the belts in Europe for so long. And I guess for a lot of people, we just got comfortable with it. But I never got comfortable with it. And that's why I've been riding with Wilder since 2012.
Watcher, what do you have on that before we move on to another subject?
Oh no, I think Divine covered that pretty well. Yeah, man. I don't really have anything else to add on that. That was spot on.
Yeah, I agree. And if anything, I would simply add where he said about them wanting Fury to be the face of boxing. If you notice, Divine, over the last couple of weeks, especially, at the presser yesterday, he was boasting about being the only undefeated heavyweight around now. And he happens to be the champion too, right? So, that didn't go over my head because both Wilder and AJ, this is why, let's listen. I know we're talking about Fury and Wilder, but I gotta say this on the heels of that suggestion. This is why AJ was supposed to fight Wilder a few years ago when the fight was on the damn table, man.
Preach it.
Because you make the fights when they are hot. You make the fights when they're there. Win, lose, or draw. You could have had 2 fights, if not working on a third, between the 2 of those guys by now, because they were the men who were both the present and future of the division. If AJ beat Wilder, it would have been a tremendous shot of confidence in him going forward in his career, and he probably would not have lost anytime soon in the thereafter. If he lost to Wilder, he could still try to come back, retool like a fighter does when they suffer a loss, and come back and get back in the thick of things. But because he took the route of avoiding and trying to stay away from imminent danger and threat, he allowed himself to slip on a banana peel called Andy Ruiz Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks far worse losing to Andy Ruiz Jr. in your U.S. debut in Madison Square Garden, where you could have fought Deontay Wilder in Madison Square Garden, and it would have been a classic fight between an American champion and a UK champion in the world's oldest arena, where it is that you got a history there.
Preach.
What is wrong with Ed Hearn? He is a freaking idiot.
Moron.
Yep.
And then when you think about it, Luis King Kong Ortiz,
Yeah.
They ducked
another
him too.
fighter that AJ could have proved himself against. Okay, if you defeat King Kong Ortiz, it does nothing but boost you. If you lose to him, you have to retool. Losing is a part of life. Look at how Wilder has taken to the fact that the reality that he now has a loss on his record. Look at how Roy Jones Jr. dealt with when they took his title away from him unjustly with a DQ. Roy Jones retooled. He did an interview with us about a month ago on Drew Titan's show. Shout out to Drew Titan, where he talked about this, and he said, listen, once they took my O away from me, I had to figure out what am I going to do next. So he considered Bob Fitzsimmons and going up to the heavyweight division, becoming the first middleweight since so long to go up to heavyweight and challenge for the heavyweight title and win it. And so he was able to do those things, further cementing himself in the books of history of boxing. But this is the type of dedication that a man sets for himself, not some form of clay and putty that AJ has allowed himself to be. Because that loss that he just suffered, that was not Andy Ruiz Jr. That was a real championship caliber fighter that he lost to. And I don't care what kind of retooling he calls himself to do to go into a rematch with this man, he's going to lose to him again.
Facts.
Because whatever adjustments that he makes for that fight, that man was ready for those adjustments in this fight. And he still beat him and didn't have to adjust. So whatever AJ tries to do in the next fight, he will be double prepared because he didn't try to do it in the first fight. And then he'll have an adjustment for that adjustment.
Yeah, and Usyk wasn't perfect in that fight. He did brilliant, but he wasn't perfect. And he's going to fix what he, didn't do perfect as well and try to make it perfect.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, man. All this avoiding. They could have fought each other, and Fury didn't never have to be resurrected. Because when AJ and Wilder were on the level where they could have fought one another, remember when Fury started to think about coming back and whatnot, he was like, I'll fight Wilder since AJ is too chicken to do it. Remember?
Yep. You Stormy, remember in the press conference when Fury was hooting and hollering that I'm the best heavyweight ever and I'm undefeated and Malik's a loser and Wilder's a loser. We got double losers. And then Wilder just said, I got 10 title defenses. How many you got? That's a mic drop. You don't have to say anything more. That's it.
Absolutely. That was excellent. That was excellent.
And
That's
and
so
and
good.
Fury said, "Oh, title defenses are for bums."
I guess Muhammad Ali's a bum. I guess Joe Louis is a bum then.
Oh shit! You mentioned
Larry
Muhammad
Holmes is a
Ali.
bum. Lennox Lewis is a bum.
Do you hear
Klitschko is a
what?
bum.
Did you hear what Nico Ali said today? You know the
What?
guy that's with Top Rank, the guy
Yeah.
that's like 1-0.
Yeah.
He said today, Nico Ali, that Fury is the closest thing to his grandfather.
Well, maybe you didn't listen to your mother, idiot. Your mother said, no, was it his mother or one of Ali's daughter? One of Ali's daughter already beat you to the punch and said Wilder is basically fucking Ali because he's got the same amount of title defenses.
Man, Nico needs to fucking take a good look at himself in the mirror for saying that shit today. I'm telling you.
I'd love to fight him. Yeah, we should push for that fight.
Well, listen, guys, I'll take this into another direction because we could get intense on this, but
Heated.
we'll back off of that. Let's go into the fact that sneakily they changed the referee this week for the fight.
Yes.
And I would like to get you guys' thoughts about this. For those who didn't know, what is his name? Russell Mora has been changed to the referee of this fight. When it was originally, what's the other Mexican gentleman's name? Forgive me.
Ortega.
Yeah, Ortega was the original referee. And when Bob Arum was asked about it yesterday, he said he didn't have any idea. I don't believe Bob Arum because you can never believe anything that Bob Arum says, except for the fact that if he says I lie, that's true. So, Watcher, what are your thoughts on the fact that they sneakily changed this referee?
No surprise there. So Mike Ortega, in my opinion, is a much better referee. He's more experienced. He's been in bigger fights. I have not really heard of him being in any controversy. Russell Moore, on the other hand, I can't say much good about him. He allowed Abner Mares with the low blows all those years ago to go uncalled for. You know, a couple of the headbutts in the Pacquiao and Ugas fight. Just a couple, but he didn't call that shit. He's taken some other ones this year and last year as well. The Haney fight, you know, he was all over the shop with that. I mean, it's just it's as soon as you hear something like this, it just feels like something is trying to be formed to go against the other side. Like, you know, I don't really like these last minute decisions being made because it means something is up. Now, I'm not too worried about it overall because I feel like Wilder can get the job done without this ref. However, because Fury likes to hold and lean on you and hit you in the freaking back, I don't believe this ref is going to do something about it. I feel like he's kind of going to either let it be, yeah, like how Kenny Bayless did. I remember he touched Wilder on the arm, and Wilder thought the clinch would break. Instead, Fury rabbit punches him again. See, a lot of these refs don't have the proper, you know, way of approaching certain positions in a fight. They have to really tell Russell and drill it into his head that this can happen, this cannot happen. Let us work in this position. Make sure he doesn't do this excessively or at all. Because, you know, even Bob Arum saying that he didn't know, Bob Arum knew. Okay, Bob Arum is not a dummy. Okay, the guy has been on this planet for 9,000 years. Okay, you know, Satan has been alive that long at Top Rank. But I mean, dude, like, what reason there was for a ref change, it hasn't been given to us either. I want to know why. There were much better refs out there. The one that took Wilder Brazil, that would have been a good one, I think.
Well, Healer, how about you? What are your thoughts on the change of the referee for the fight?
Oh, of course something's up. Russell Mora is definitely, he seems like the guy that you pay regularly based on the things that he's done. I feel like what he's going to do is turn a blind eye to Fury shenanigans. The fact of the matter is, they know that Wilder's going to retaliate. When the audience sees Fury cheating and then Wilder cheats back, or rather just responds accordingly, that's when Mora is going to interrupt and try to get a DQ. That's what they're trying to do. Or at least that's just my opinion. But I really don't care about the results. I don't, as far as the boxing match, first off, it was never a legit match to begin with. So I don't really care what you rule it. Although I might place some money on it, so I kind of do care. But what I really want to see is, regardless of what you rule, this guy got to get decapitated. However, be it legally, in the ring, out of the ring, I'm coming to see a decapitation that day. Mora ain't gonna ruin that, and nobody else is gonna stop that.
Yeah, it's definitely done for a reason. They will never be honest about it. But Divine, I know you've talked about it on your channel, but let's talk about it a little more here. What are your thoughts in the fact that they've changed this referee at the 11:59th hour?
I think I was live. I think I was live with Drew, and somebody said in the chat that they changed the referee, and I was like, "What? They changed the referee?" But because the thing is like I was hitting up Tay Jones pretty much every day. He's like, "Yo, Tay, do we know who the ref is? Do we know who the ref is?" No, we don't know. We don't know. And I'm like, "How the hell we don't know who the ref is?" At that point in time, it was like a week away from the fight. They didn't even know who it was. There was no information put out at all. No considerations, nothing. And then 3 days before the fight, it's this Mora guy. Now, when I heard who it was, the first thing that popped into my head, to be quite honest with you, was Pacquiao Ugas. And I started thinking, how did he do in that fight? Well, if you remember in that fight, he actually pulled Ugas to the side and warned him of a low blow in that fight. I felt like the fight or that punch was on the belt line. So, Ugas was extremely apologetic, and it actually threw Ugas off of his game plan for that entire round. And Pacquiao was able to get off, right? Because he was scared, because he wanted to go to the body, and Pacquiao's shorter than him. So he stayed away from the body, and that affected his game plan. Then I started thinking, well, let me go back a little bit. And of course, the Abner Mares fight came about, which was like 10 years ago. It's been a while, right? It's been a while. But that fight is such an atrocity to boxing. The fact that he allowed a fighter to hit another fighter in the balls more than a dozen times. Literally.
25
more than a dozen.
Exact.
Yeah. And never took a point. And I know people say, "Oh, but that's a long time ago, Devon. He maybe he realizes his mistake and he's better now." Look, man, let me say that again. He let another fighter punch another fighter in the balls. A healer said 25 times. Right? That's almost, or actually, I will say this. I'll go out and say this. That's unforgivable. Period. I was going to say that's almost unforgivable, but nah, that's unforgivable. He should never referee the fight ever again, in my opinion. And so now, 3 days before the fight, they throw him in there. Now, I told people on my channel, I made a video about it. Let's not forget, Tyson Fury's the A side now, right? Nobody wants to accept that. Oh, come on, Devon, you're making excuses again. Tyson Fury isn't the A side. What? He ain't the A side. He's a champ. So when you guys got upset when Oscar De La Hoya used to choose the ring size, the gloves, and everything else, then you got upset at Mayweather choosing the gloves and the ring size, but then you don't want to criticize Fury for basically doing the same shit. He absolutely, him and his team, had a say on who they would like the referee to be. Right? So people asked me on the panel earlier tonight, "Oh, Divine, are you worried about it?" Well, of course, naturally, I'm worried about it because the dude lets other dudes punch fighters in the balls. So, of course, I'm worried about it. Right? But to Healer's point, man, I just feel like they are trying to pull anything and everything out of the woodwork to try and pull the fight in Fury's favor. But it doesn't matter. Right? As I always say, the skies are black and the clouds are moving in. Right? It's retribution. It's inevitable. The gods have spoken. He can't run from it. So it doesn't matter. And trust me, mark my words. I guarantee you, Fury will do something dirty in this fight. I promise you that. I promise you, he's going to try to get away with it because that's what he does. That's who he is. Right? Don't get it twisted. This whole gypsy background, fighting in the backyards and bare knuckles, and they're out there punching each other in the balls and biting each other and doing a bunch of crazy shit. Right? That's who he is. And that's what it's going to be. He's going to try to see if Mora will stop him from doing the things that he always does. And so all I want from Wilder is not to allow that to affect his game plan, because that's exactly what Fury wants him to do. Is I'm going to lean on him, I'm going to headlock him, I'm going to rabbit punch him, I'm going to try to trip him, I'm going to try to throw him on the floor, I'm going to try to out wrestle him. And if Wilder gets upset, loses his game plan, and starts telegraphing the right hand again, that's not a good thing. So now we have Malik Scott. Yeah, we don't have Mark Breland, who doesn't say shit after each round is over. Now we have Malik, who's going to continue to put words of encouragement into him and give him the correct instructions when it comes to Fury trying to do these type of tactics. Wilder will hurt Fury, probably early, and Fury will try to buy time and do dirty shit. That's how I see it happening, and Mora is going to play a role in that. And it just furthers our point, Stormy, that they're trying to put the benefits to Fury's side.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to read this comment that's on the screen right now. It's from my partner, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. We do a couple of collaborations a week. We do post-fight shows together, and every Friday night, we do the Friday night chop session together. Salute to Reggie out there. He says, hell, Russell Mora sat there and watched Linares punch Devin Haney in the back of the head with 4 consecutive shots. I also want to say, during a recent ESPN broadcast where he was officiating a fight, where I don't remember which fight it was, forgive me, because I've got so many fights in my head right now. And Reggie and I talked about this. Mora grabbed one of the fighters, and I think the fighter was either a dark brown Latino fighter. He grabbed the guy and yelled at him and admonished him for something, and he talked to him to the degree that Reggie and I were like, when we did the post-fight show, we were like, man, we would punch that dude in the mouth talking to me like that. So he showed an extreme bias in a moment that had nothing to do with him, where he was officiating a fight. And he talked to the fighter like he was just disrespectful. Like we were back in slavery times, and he was talking to him like he was like a plantation owner or something. I didn't like that at all. Then when we saw him again, because with the ESPN broadcast, he's on a lot of their cards. Same thing with his officiating, yelling at people, not calling blows that are low. We have talked about this guy, and we've talked about some of the judges. And we've spoken about this because there is a problem, and it's been very consistent. It's been very consistent. We've seen this take place, and you could go back and watch our, post-fight shows. We talk about it a lot, Reggie and I. we're always calling out these judges and officials that are questionable and have questionable ethics and maybe have ulterior motives out there. We're seeing it so much, and ESPN harbors a lot of those guys. They do. And don't forget, they changed the judge for this fight also. So I need to know who that judge is and who was replaced, because that's something that has possibly been done to assist Fury as well. It would behoove Deontay Wilder to just knock this guy clean spark out, as they like to say, because
absolutely,
if he is given to too much of back and forth in there, it will open up the opportunity for a judge, for the official ref to pull him to the side, admonish him about something, some false kind of accusation or whatever, and I'm going to take a point and this or that, or he might just take a point for doing something, therefore put Wilder on his heels. Well, I didn't even really do nothing. You understand? Without a warning. Because you know these judges, these referees have been known to do that. Without a warning, take a point from a guy. You never warned the guy, if you do that again, I'll take a point, or no more of that. You just, he did it and you take a point. Or you think he did it and you take a point. We have to be very guarded against that as well, people.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, I got you there, Devon. So
yes, sir.
let's move into one other thing that I wanted to present to the panel here. What percentage of each guy, given the best of what they have to offer, aligns them with the victory? So who do you give the most solid of chances at victory in this fight, given that they both come in with their best? You know, what percentage? And this is not a thing where, you know, you consider it as if you knew that both guys came in prepared.
I would say 70-30 Wilder. The reason I say that is, well, first off, he cheated both fights. You only cheat because you don't believe you can win. So how good is he really? And this version of Wilder is going to the body. I saw him do a duck roll and hook to the body. That is one of the most beautiful, devastating counters to the body. That rolling hook, bow. So, even though Fury didn't test positive for the second fight, I believe that he was on something, because I don't know. He didn't pass my eye test. I just feel that he was on something, and obviously he cheated in that too. So, if he cheated and barely scraped by the first fight, and then really had to cheat the second fight to win, take away all of that, what is he? I think what Steve Cunningham did to him is like really as good as he is. But that's just my thoughts.
Okay, Watcher, what do you got?
Percent wise, I'm not really like overall sure. I just think Wilder is a better fighter. Like with both guys coming in 100% prepared. I think Wilder is just, you know, I give him the edge, you know, athletic wise, just his approach to tactics.
Can I stop you real quick right there with Watcher when you said that about athletic wise? Can we all agree here on the panel that Wilder, that's one thing you could say about the first two fights, Wilder did not use his athleticism when he was known to use it in the past against certain fighters. And in his first two fights with Fury, he did not use his athleticism at all. Could we all agree to that?
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead, Watcher. I just wanted to point that out.
No, that's good. Yeah, especially in the second fight. But regardless, I mean, like Fury was trying to do a damn deadlift in the gym once, and his back almost snapped in half. I mean, you know, even cardio wise, he gets hit in one area, it's just a depletion. It's like a health bar in a video game. Yeah, I just think this fight here, you know, a lot of it will have to do with position in the ring. That's for sure.
Okay, Divine, what do you got?
As far as percentage,
Well, yeah, and you don't necessarily have to give a percentage, but given each guy could come in at their best, the chances you give one to win over the other with them coming in with their best.
With their best. That's a good question, actually, because I don't think Fury has prepared as he should have. I think he crammed in like a 3 to 4 week training camp because he knew that, or he heard, or he watched, or probably all the above, Wilder looking very good in training camp. And I think he was like, oh, we better start training. So I don't think we're going to get the best Fury, which obviously adds on to my prediction and boosts my confidence. But if he does, maybe he shocked us all. Maybe he was training behind the scenes, and we do get the best Fury. We get the best Wilder. Yeah, I would say 60-40. Let's say 60-40 in favor of Wilder. I just feel like I've been saying and preaching for so long now leading up to this fight, it's just too much time for Wilder, man. It's too much time to prepare. You know, and if it was July 24th, I think Fury would have a slighter chance to pull it off, just because I think he's confident and he's still, you know, reaming off the victory of the second fight. But he got COVID. He didn't get COVID. His daughter was sick. He wasn't training. In the meantime, Wilder's training focused, and I think that tactic to postpone the fight by Fury is actually what's going to backfire on him, to be completely honest. And I think that, to Healer's point, the body attack is going to be something to watch. One particular move is the straight right hand to the body, not the head. Straight right hand to the body and slipping out to his right, which avoids Fury's right hand, a counter right hand. And based off of what I've seen in training with Malik Scott, quick enough to get underneath a counter left hook as well. So that's going to be a punch that's going to be there all day. The straight right hand to the body is going to be there all day. The jab to the body is going to be there all day. And you put in that work. You put water in the basement, as Teddy Atlas likes to say. You know, you're going to slow him down. He's going to be more reluctant to move forward. And then eventually, I just see Wilder landing something big, man. So, yeah. On that note, I feel like I haven't been excited for a fight like this where I'm talking about it basically every single day on YouTube, in real life. Every time I go to the boxing gym, everybody's talking about it. And most people I meet, I don't know about you guys, where you guys are out, you know, in the world, but for me, I would say it's probably 80% Fury fans that I encounter. They all think Fury's going to win. So, but I've never been this excited since probably Pacquiao Mayweather, to be honest with you. And that was probably because I had talked about that fight for 5 or 6 years before it finally happened. But this is something similar where I have that feeling where it's not, how do I put it? It's not jitters. It's like I'm ready to celebrate. You know what I mean? I'm just ready to celebrate. And it's like it's like a birthday party. It's like you're anticipating your birthday party when you're a kid. You know, get your cake, get your toys, and that's how I'm feeling right now, man. And can't wait.
I think the fight that was most exciting for me to this point, you know, like this, that I had this type of excitement, was possibly Spence and Porter. Because you know, they were considered two of the top in their division finally, squaring off against each other, even though people wanted to see them, when Porter first got that WBC belt, go right in, but he elected to take some other fights and everything first. So I think that was it for me. But I know that we're pushing up to 2 hours, and I know Divine said he's got to go. So let's go ahead and get some final thoughts on this all from you guys, and I'll let Healer go first. Healer, what are your final thoughts and everything? Give us your full thought about who do you think's going to win and why?
I definitely think Wilder's going to win. Why? Because he's better, and I think this time he's just more prepared. Although Fury will try to cheat, I think the ref is going to rig it. But like I said, I'm not really too concerned about the outcome of the boxing match, because I feel like they're going to try to disqualify him or some craziness or something like that. I really feel like they're going to do something like that. But I feel that I just really want to see the revenge happen and just freaking enjoy the rest of the night, But yeah.
Okay. And I want to thank, before I go any further, I want to thank all three of you guys, and also kind of Local Sports, who was with us this evening, man. Thank you guys for coming out, for making this a great boxing discussion on this fight for Saturday night. I really appreciate you supporting me in this. We had a lot of people in here checking us out. I think at one point it was up to 130 something people out there, and we got 130 something thumbs up. So that's tremendous. But I couldn't have done that without you guys' participation. So
at one point, Stormy, at one point you had like 125 likes and no dislikes, but they got to sneak in there and hit the dislike button.
We know who that is.
Trolls.
We know.
Yeah,
we know who that is.
We know.
Yeah, but go ahead, Divine, because I know you got to get out. So give us your final thoughts. Who wins and why do you think so?
Yeah. Wilder, obviously. I said last week that it'll be round 5 or 6 knockout. I've done a little bit more thinking about it, and because they changed the referee, I think that it's going to be a KO 8 or 9. I'm going to bump it up a little bit. I think there might be some shenanigans in a couple rounds that will be kind of like throwaway rounds for Fury. And so, yeah, I got a knockout 8 and 9. And I'm looking forward to the after party. I'm probably going to be live. I know you're going to go live, Stormy, after the fight. I'm going to be live as well on my channel. We're all going live, all the content creators. It's going to be crazy. Looking forward to that. But just to let everyone know, the night of October 9th is a celebration. I'm not going to really talk about the fight. It's just a celebration for me, at least. October 10th is when I'm going to come on here and talk about the fight. And, of course, I'll have a little bit of interesting dialogue for all the haters out there who've been hating on my channel for the past, 3 months. So look forward to doing that as well. I've been putting that in the freezer for quite some time. And at the end of the day, the ultimate goal here is, I think we all agree, is Wilder becoming the first undisputed heavyweight champion since, Healer pointed out, Evander Holyfield, which is probably more than 15 years ago or so. And that's what the ultimate goal should be. And that's another reason why I want Wilder to win, other than me being a fan of his and not really liking Fury very much either, to be completely honest. I think he's a joke. And it's time for him to go back into his hole.
Yes, sir. I deeply agree with that. Also, drop your link for your channel in the chat before you take off, please,
Yes,
so people can subscribe to you if they're not subscribed. And watch you drop your link in the chat as well when you get a moment. And let's hear your thoughts finally. And thanks again for coming out to support and be a part of this collaboration, Divine and Watcher. Watcher, what do you think? What are your final thoughts and why?
Wilder, round 3, KO.
Wow.
It can happen, the referee being involved. I don't give a shit about Russell. He won't have any influence at the end of the day, I think. Because I think it will be a short night. If it goes longer, it goes longer. But this is going to be maximum violence. Glace glace. I can't wait for this. This is going to be very satisfying. I'm going to be doing commentary on my channel on Fight Night for the cards. So if you guys want to just tune in to Watcher Boxing, I'll be live with that in a couple days. I do think that the fight can go different ways in terms of, maybe a TKO or cut or whatnot. But the punch that is just getting at me is the shovel hook, the left one from Wilder. I just feel like that's the shot that will do it. But, I can't wait. And Bomb Squad will be victorious.
Yeah.
Shovel left hook. Interesting. To the body or the head?
To the head.
Okay, cool.
Let me say this, and Wilder has always been a straight up guy. When he was asked about his sparring and his training and everything, he went on the record to say that during his training, he has broken ribs, busted noses, which pretty much means broken noses, and he's left guys actually snoring on the canvas. These are his words, not mine. And when you talk about that, remember those 18-ounce gloves and everything, this is in training, people. This is in training. He wouldn't say he's going to drop any names or anything like that, but this has transpired. My thoughts are Wilder wins this fight. I had said by submission. He's going to hurt Fury to the point like Fury's never been hurt before, because he's the one guy who can do it. And I don't think that he pushed himself in the first fight enough. The second fight, there was something definitely going on, something wrong with him, something going on with Fury. And so this fight, Wilder will compete with a different intensity and everything that was not a part of the first two fights. So with the way that he is capable of executing, I believe this fight could be over very fast. Or if he's got a little bit of sadism in him, he will allow himself the pleasure of beating Fury up for a couple of rounds and then taking him out. So I don't think it gets beyond 3. There's something about the first or third round that's in my head for some reason. I see Wilder taking this guy apart in a way that we haven't seen him before. And I think he's going to really hurt Fury. And if he is DQ'd, it probably because he probably won't stop punching, even though Fury is dead and gone. He probably will still be hitting the guy. And that is something that I could actually really see happening. Because Fury may not want to go down, but the worst thing Wilder could do to him is make him quit. That would be the ultimate. And it wouldn't be quit like, no mas. It would be because he's hurt Fury. I don't think nobody's ever really, really hurt Fury. And Wilder is definitely capable of doing that. So, and you have to remember, those guys he hurt in sparring and training, those weren't even guys he wanted to hurt. Think about that. I wouldn't want to be Fury.
Ah, damn.
So,
Stormy, do you just real quick, do you think Fury will come forward? Do you think that's what he believes in the?
Yeah, because he's dumb enough to believe. He's dumb enough to believe that that's an advantage for him. Remember, he did that in the second fight after seeing the effects of whatever was going on with Wilder. It wasn't the same Wilder, so he got brave. He got brave. You broke that down. Right. I watched your stream when you talked about that. He was like testing the waters, and he saw when Wilder started getting weaker and weaker, that's when he got brave and started going in and pursuing. But he didn't start off like that.
Yeah. He took a right hand in the second fight, And then he had a look on his face like, oh, he doesn't have power like he had in the first fight. And he became braver. He didn't have power because he didn't have his legs.
Yeah. And in this fight, he's prepared to punch off of moving on his toes and bouncing and stuff like that. So, and I'm going to tell you something. I know you got to go, but I just wanted to say this. Have you noticed, like, in that pad work where he was doing with Malik, and I don't like to, put much solace in pad work. That's my thing. I've always talked about that. But the power that he was hitting the pads with, it's like, damn. It's like, if that's a person, dude.
18-ounce gloves as well. 18-ounce gloves.
Yes. He said that concussions were also a part of these training camps. So he's hurt people, man. He's hurt people. And these are not even the main people he wanted to get in there to hurt.
He hurt Malik Scott.
Yeah.
With the body shield on.
Dude, this is something else. I'm telling
my
you.
God.
But I had said it. This fight is the trigger for the future of what he does in his next few fights, because I don't think there's anybody that can stand in there for 12 rounds with him with this rededication that he has. So, yeah. But those are my thoughts, fellas. So, we could take this. We got a super chat that just came in from Teddy Fresh out there. He says, yeah, he took that right hand in the second fight in the first round, but it definitely didn't have the usual torque on it. Yeah, it was almost like a slap of a right hand that Wilder don't usually throw,
Yeah, and to Freddie
he's not
Fresh's
throwing
point
slapping shots, and he's not throwing wild winging shots anymore. He's throwing short, compact shots now.
And through his target, punching through it, not to it.
Yep.
So just real quick on Freddie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick to Teddy Fresh's super chat there. If he's able to land a right hand that doesn't have power and the same velocity that will be coming at him, that is Fury, in this upcoming fight, in the first round, when he doesn't have his legs, what do you think is going to happen Saturday night? He's able to land that in the first round of the second fight when he didn't have his legs. I keep telling people, Fury coming forward, he doesn't have defense. And so when people say, oh, Wilder, he's changing his skill set up, he's becoming a boxer now. Well, you criticize that, but then all of a sudden Fury can be a boxer his entire career and then just become what? A Diego Corrales? Come forward? He don't have no defense when he comes forward. I'm telling you this. Yeah. Mark my words.
Absolutely. And he could run right into a counter shot by Wilder, and that could be it. His lights get totally turned out for him. And listen, let's go back to the first fight real briefly. After the first round, Fury goes back to his corner, and he tells his corner man, fuck, that dude can punch. I think he got hit with a couple of jabs or something. And he was like, this guy can punch. That's what he said to his own corner. So
I feel like something's going to happen. I'm feeling like it's going to be something reminiscent to Pacquiao Marquez 4. When Pacquiao ran into something coming forward, lunging forward, and just getting hit with something he didn't see and put his ass to sleep.
Listen, you know what would be amazing? Because, Fury calls himself, I'm going to run him over like an 18-wheeler or whatever, right? And all of that foolishness. But what would be amazing is if Fury threw a right hand and Deontay threw a counter right hand and caught him. My philosophy, and I think Malik is right on par with me with this. My philosophy is the best time to hit a fighter is when he's trying to hit you, when he throws a punch. So I could definitely see Wilder waiting for Fury to throw something so he can open up with something that he hasn't seen from Wilder before. Because that's one thing you did not see from Wilder in 2 fights is counterpunching. You didn't.
Right.
And that's something that you would not seen in their training, only in their sparring. And that's when a guy is vulnerable. When when one hand is shot out trying to hit you, if it's a jab, counter to the jab. If it's a right hand, counter to the right hand. If it's an uppercut, counter to that. If it's a hook to the body, counter to that. See, those are the kind of things that I believe Malik and he have been working on that we haven't had a chance to see.
Because they're not scared of Tyson Fury's power. They're not worried about his power. They
probably want him to open up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because
go ahead.
You figure like if Wilder is the aggressive and trying to hit him, he's gonna go into his shell, covering up and blocking and doing his thing that he does. And I sure as hell hope he doesn't do that dipping down to the right that he was doing in the first fight, because he's a dead man if he does that. That will bring in that shovel hook that Watcher is talking about.
It's too predictable. He does the same. I'm telling you, man. He's like that second fight. He was coming forward, being all aggressive. He has sacrificed footwork for size, aggression, and power. Every time he threw that right hand, just about hit square up, or every time he tried to cut the ring off. It's not natural for Fury to really fight this way. So he can come forward, and trust me, he will run onto a hard shot. And Wilder can counter. I know he can do it. He's gonna get this guy. You watch.
Yeah, it's man, it's gonna be shocking. I remember when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao. I was in a bar full of Pacquiao fans, and the silence was just remarkable. The silence was fucking remarkable, man. And there was like literally 5 guys going for Marquez, and we were going bananas. And it was like another 200 people at the bar just in complete shock. And I'm seeing the same thing. The difference is going to be, at least in the arena, there's going to be a lot of Wilder fans going crazy. But I'm going to be in a situation where it's going to be Fury fans, and I can't wait. I see the ring walk, and they get all, British fans. You're from the UK, Watcher?
Not from Australia.
Oh, okay. I apologize. But UK fans, they get all crazy in their little chants and Yeah. I know it's coming. I know it's coming, right? In the ring walk. And I'm going to sit there in my little chair at the bar with my little Jack Daniels on ice, and I'm going to sit there just okay. Just wait. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, man, it's going to go dead silent. I might not even celebrate. I might, when Wilder knocks him out, I might just sit there shaking my head. Just shaking my head. Like, told you. Because when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao, I basically did a backflip in the bar because I didn't expect that. I was expecting a war. I was expecting, a 12 round like they always did. That's what Marquez and Pacquiao always did, right? When I was like, whoa. But when
he went down, I was like, oh, he ain't getting up, man.
Oh, man. Who was commentating? Oh, it was Roy, right? He ain't getting up, Jim. He ain't getting up, Jim. So it's gonna be something like that, man. I'm telling you. But the difference is I'm expecting a knockout. You know what I mean? I'm expecting it, and I'm just it's just gonna be a matter of told you so. Get on my bike, come back home, get on the mic and just say, look, guys, that's it. And I can't wait. More so than the fight is the post-fight interview that Wilder's going to give.
Oh, man, the fucking atmosphere there is going to be electric. Like, I can't freaking wait.
Remember when Mike Tyson got a knockout and he did that whole speech where he was like, my style is or my defense is impregnable, and I'm gonna eat your children and all this shit. And he said to Lennox, Lennox, I'm coming for you. And he's like looking into the camera, right? And Wilder already did that to Joshua, so I guess Usyk is next. You got Usyk, I'm coming for you. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I expect it to be quite emotional for Wilder too because of everything he's had to deal with. And let's just say this much on air. It ain't over after this fight either.
Agree.
So,
yeah, I agree.
But,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys go, because I know Divine, we said you had to do some
Yes, sir.
with this stream tonight. We did a great thing. Seems like everybody's really happy with this evening, man. It was a great way to fill in the time for the three wise men. So, I'm sure that Kurt Sugar and Scrapbook Boxing appreciate us being able to hold down some content in their absence. Today is Divine, if you didn't hear me earlier because you came in a little later, today is Scrapbook Boxing's birthday. And
nice.
He's gone to Vegas for the fight. His wife and son are in Vegas for the fight. So they're going to be there for the fight. This is his last fight that he's attending, and he's attended over 500 fights. So
what a birthday present.
So
what a birthday present, man.
I know, right?
Scrapbook,
I told him, I said,
birthday,
bring
man.
back that victory, Scrap.
Wow, what a birthday present. He's going to feel like he's 25 again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, thank you guys, man. And Watcher, if you can hold on for a couple minutes after we log off the air, I just want to speak to you behind the scenes for a minute. And Divine, I know you got to go, so I'll be catching up with you. Sir. But thank you guys again, man. This has been it for Fury versus Wilder 3. It's fight week. Let's talk about it. I think we gave you guys a great conversation on this fight, and we really look forward to it this weekend. For those of you who can, please purchase the pay-per-view to show support and love for the fighters. And also be here Friday night, tomorrow night for the chop session where we're going to talk about the fight a little bit more. And then on Saturday, the post-fight. That's going to be awesome. So for me, Watcher, and Divine Sense Boxing, this is Stormy B-Man. We signing off for now. Peace to everybody. Have a safe weekend and enjoy the fights.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.